What is the story of Poppy Playtime? Chapter 1 Story. In Chapter 1, players find themselves exploring the closed Playtime Company toy factory. Poppy and other toys were manufactured by the company. Players take on the role of a former Playtime Company employee who decides to check on the factory. However, the toy factory closed down 10 years ago. Since then, it had been abandoned. But it's not because of bankruptcy or anything business related. Playtime Company toy factory has been closed indefinitely because of staff coming into work only to never come out of the factory one day. Moreover, the person players control only comes back to the toy factory since they received a letter from the staff who vanished 10 years ago. And although the kids' toys seem harmless, the first chapter reveals that they are experiments. This implies that the missing staff members of the toy factory are made into these violent toys. But this hasn't been confirmed yet by Poppy Playtime Defers, so these are just speculations at this point. Regardless, it's not impossible if VHS tapes players collect throughout their journey throughout the horror-filled factory reveal a lot about the secrets hidden by the Playtime Company toy factory. Huggy Wuggy is the main villain in Poppy Playtime Chapter 1. Players first encounter Huggy Wuggy as soon as they enter the lobby. To return to the game story, Huggy Wuggy is the factory's mascot. He replaced Poppy as the factory's mascot when dolls started going out. The seemingly harmless toy is displayed in the center of the room. But as soon as players try to unlock one of the doors in the lobby area, the whole room goes black as the power cuts. After the player restores the power by heading to the power room, Huggy Wuggy is no longer there. Throughout the game, Huggy Wuggy terrorizes you as you make your way around the factory. In the final encounter with Huggy Wuggy, he chases the player through the events wherein he seemingly meets his demise. From there, the player goes to a room where Poppy is the trap. Poppy was the first toy manufactured by Playtime Company Toy Factory. After opening the glass case where Poppy is in, she opens her eyes. "You opened my case," Poppy says before the game ends. And although she is considered a minor character in the first chapter, she becomes your ally in Chapter 2 inside a glass case. Chapter 2 Story. The next chapter's events immediately pick up from where the game ended in Chapter 1. The player goes back to the factory but in a different area this time. Further into the factory, you come across Elliot Ludwig's office. From the first chapter, we find out that he is Playtime Company Toy Factory's founder. Then, Poppy shows herself once more to the player and offers a way out of the factory, as her way of saying thanks. However, this is cut short when an arm comes out from the darkness and takes Poppy hostage. As soon as you see Poppy again, you see Mummy Longlegs with Poppy in one of her stretchy hands. She promises the train codes to escape from the factory. However, the player has to complete 3 challenges in the game station. Moreover, Mummy Longlegs threatens the player with death if they fail to accomplish the challenges. Musical Memory, Wacky Wuggy, and Statues. The first 2, scary, games are winnable. But as for the third game, it's rigged. The player needs to go through a maze while the lights are off. Moreover, PJ Pugapilla chases them and gets closer if the player moves while the lights are on. The only way to safety is by making it out of the maze. But as soon as the player completes the maze, it is a dead end. To get away from PJ Pugapilla, the player grapples their way into the observatory above. This angers Mummy Longlegs because according to her, the player is a cheater. Mummy Longlegs is the villain in Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. Or is she? After Mummy Longlegs chases you down throughout the factory, her hand accidentally gets caught in an industrial grinder. But even though she's getting crushed, she doesn't pay attention to the pain. She screams not out of agony, but out of fear that he will make her a part of him. Not long after she dies, a claw with needles for fingers takes her remains. Poppy has other plans. Obtains the third part of the code for the train. They encounter Poppy again. Only this time, she's trapped in a spider web. The player untangles Poppy from her restraints and it's evident that Poppy's whole demeanor changed. After the player frees her, she immediately asks if they killed her, meaning Mummy Longlegs. Then, she disappears while the player boards the train. Why did Poppy prevent the player from leaving? The whole thing was unexpected, since we were led to believe that Poppy was our ally from the start. However, there seems to be more to her reason than meets the eye. Players speculate that Poppy is the loved one who Elliot Ludwig lost. This loss heavily affected Elliot and led him to create the Poppy experiments. Moreover, some Poppy Playtime players believed that he wanted to reincarnate this loved one, which is why he